Welcome to CresTV. This week's episode is Kevin Knox, the Manager of Learning Systems and Enterprise Services at the Australian National University. G'day, Kevin. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much. Pleasure to be here.
Well, look, yes, sir. Obviously, a big role there for the Australian National University. When did you start, and what did you find when you got there? And are we talking teaching spaces and meeting rooms, or just teaching spaces?
Yeah, so when I first arrived, given my background and particularly the business background, what really jumped out at me was a lack of direction, particularly in the AV. There was no formal vision statement. There was no AV strategy. There was no standards document as such. And what I encountered on the ground was bespoke spaces. You name the technology, we had it. We still have to a certain extent. And what I did find is that academics were complaining bitterly of being tethered to technology. I knew that I wanted to use the network in particular. So for everyone been talking and still are talking about AV over IP, I wanted to do AV into IT. I wanted to use the infrastructure, the applications, service delivery, and the projects area of IT. And I wanted to show that I could actually talk the same language. The moment I got that confidence from those people, I had a fantastic relationship, in particular with the network manager, and he has helped immensely.
It's terrific. So, and I know you've got a Crestron virtual control and NVX AV over IP and using cloud and whatever. But let's go back to then, what difference has that made then to, as you started this discussion, to those lecturers who are tethered to the technology? What have you managed to achieve, and what's the end result for them?
Yeah, so I think in its basic form, I was harnessing the NVX for its, so it's two things. So it was fixing up the technology side, so the security side, 802.1x, Active Directory, and SSH. But using the NVX allowed me to untether the academics to the technology in the sense that we were using the network. So it's important for me that we don't use DMPSs for the switching, the control. It's more about we now have every refresh, new build is a Cisco 9300. So we're harnessing the new PoE. We're not using power packs on anything. And the NVX gave us that freedom. If an academic, or I actually pushed it back to the academics. You tell me what it is you want in these theatres, and they would argue amongst themselves the functionality they wanted. And for me, it's just adding another NVX box, just adding another one, and then whatever technology they want to use.
You've, I guess, enabled the lecturers to have a similar, or is it the same interface when they all walk into any of these spaces?
Now, that's an interesting one because while there was lots of bespoke rooms, you name the interface, it's unbelievable what I've seen. So we created a vision statement, an AV strategy, we created standards, and in that I thought, because it's normally the hardest part to do is have a design by committee, and then everyone tells you what you can't do. We found it very easy because people are so used to chaos to bring order to them. Worked out very, very well. And then, we moved to the Flex, for example. I look at the consistent, it was so easy to use in the meeting spaces, consistent interface in particular.
And ultimately that just leads to better adoption of technology, which is what guys like you and I live and breathe on, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
And you mentioned support before. How has the new approach changed how you support the rooms, and has there been a better result there for those lecturers?
Yeah, so beginning of the year, we had 200, I think it was about 235 tickets that were outstanding. We now have, I believe it's 16 tickets, and in that short period of time, even in COVID-19. So we've been able to do that because the support now is more remote. I say it's not reactive, it's proactive, and we're moving to that preemptive environment now. So that has actually helped us immensely. And in particular, I did I won't go into the actual cost, but I worked out exactly what our costs were per ticket for our call outs. And that's the type of thing that speaks volumes to senior management. And I can tell you that the cost is down over 50%.
All right. Thanks for the chat, Kevin. We appreciate your time on CresTV.
No problems. It was a pleasure being here. Thank you.